So, keep in mind, I just said not beating my head up against the wall about electoral politics, but that doesn't mean I don't beat it up against the wall ever. And sometimes when there's something breaking, you gotta talk about it. Something breaking like, say, hey, somebody announced for 2020. Well, guess what? Somebody did, and that somebody is Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris announces her presidential campaign. She's for the people. All right, so we don't even need to watch the sound with this video. I think this is her. Here, let's see what if this is her actual thing.
Truth, justice, decency.
I'm just gonna. You don't need to. All right, so you don't even need to hear it because it's just these words. All right, so these aren't just words. All right. The future of our country depends on you and millions of others lifting our voices to fight for our American values. That's why I'm running for President of the United States. I'm running to lift those voices, to bring our voices together, and then join her in Oakland. Let's do this together. Let's claim our future. For ourselves, for our children, for our country. I'll see you in Oakland. Kamala Harris, for the people. Just being strictly objective here. That is the most boring, bland, and just substanceless commercial for president I have ever seen in my life. If I knew nothing about Kamala Harris, I could watch that commercial and it would change nothing. I would still know absolutely nothing about her. I guess other than what she looks like, that would be the only thing I would learn. That is hands down the weakest presidential commercial I have ever seen. I know a minute you can't say everything, but you can certainly say something, which she chose not to do. We could talk about the fact that we could talk about how corrupt she was as a prosecutor, how she was certainly very hard on people that had pot, but she was pretty easy on the banks. We could talk about how she's fine with prison labor and has spoken about how it's essential for California's economy. We could talk about how she claims she's for Medicare for all, but in the single-payer efforts in her state of California, she has done nothing for them. Literally nothing for them. We could talk about all that. We could talk about how she's not bringing up issues at all, and this commercial is very much cognizant of that because her issues are, what do the donors want? We could talk about all that, or we can just not even bother going that far because here's something, she ain't gonna win. Why do I say that? Well, because you have to beat Trump with something. And what we just, I mean, those were just a bunch of words. That was just verbal diarrhea, word salad. There was nothing. And you can say something in a minute. Here you go. Medicare for all, Green New Deal, jobs program, infrastructure. I think I'm still under a minute. I don't want to see Trump get a second term. But I know that just trying to beat have somebody beat him with just Trump fatigue, it's not going to be enough. Because it failed the first time. And he still has his base. And if they shove Kamala Harris down our throats and she loses, it's not the fault of the left. It's going to be the fault of her nothing campaign. Which is, if this is any indicator, I mean, this is her first step forward. I'm sorry. Just being totally objective here, that is the lamest presidential commercial I have ever seen in my life. Now I'm just being objective. The best one I've ever seen, still, 2008 Barack Obama. Barack Obama's commercial that they did where it showed John McCain saying, no, we can't, in a collage. And then at the very end, it just said, yes, we can. And it was one of those things you didn't even know which candidate it was for at first. I mean, you could have guessed it was probably Obama because he kept saying, no, we can't. But it could have been like they could have spun it and then shown McCain. And he could have been like, let me show you what we can do. But it didn't. It went to Obama. And it just said, yes, we can. You know, again, just objectively speaking, from a commercial standpoint, that was the most effective political commercial I've ever seen in my life. And Obama went on to win in a landslide. For a lot of reasons, not just that commercial. But I'm just saying, that is the worst. I mean, I can honestly say that Kamala Harris commercial, that is the worst presidential commercial from any candidate. And I've seen some lame ones from Democrats and Republicans. That is the worst. Like there's just nothing in there. All right, so let's go to her announcement. If we can stay awake through this article, I don't know if I'll be able to. No promises. Kamala Harris on Monday announced she'll run for president. I'm running for president of the United States. I'm very excited about it. You might be the only one, Kamala. All right, so she's running. She's long been considered a possible front runner. Speculation that she would enter the race mounted earlier this month when she launched a book tour and media blitz to promote her memoir, The Truths We Hold, An American Journey. There have been more generic book titles, but this one takes the cake. I mean, this is a good one. The senator who will stress equality, decency, justice, and democracy. Again, just work. I mean, how? How is she stressing all these things? How? She'll use the slogan, for the people. That's pretty much just the Democrat slogan. Like, isn't it something like for the worker or something like that? My entire career has been focused on keeping people safe. Okay. When I look at this moment in time, I know the American people deserve to... Really? Your entire career has been focused on keeping people safe. Does that include the prisoners in California who have to go fight wildfires for $1 a day? Were you keeping them safe in your career? Does that include them? Is that part of the people you're keeping safe? Harris, whose parents were involved in the civil rights movement, said she was honored to make the announcement on MLK Jr. Day. Today, the day we celebrate Dr. King, is a very special day for all of us as Americans. I'm honored to be able to make my announcement on the day we commemorate him. I really hold MLK Day special, so I'm finding a way to make it about me. That adds up. That makes sense. Have we seen enough? Do we need to go? Can I go to you guys now? I don't want to go. I'm done with the article. And again, I'm not a fan of Kamala Harris. That's obvious. But she can't win. You can't. You have to beat Trump with something that's an actual opposition to him. And something that also plays that anti-establishment tinge. And that's one of the reasons, right now, I think Tulsi Gabbard is our best option. Because in many ways, she is the left equivalent of Trump. She's an outsider. She's hard to put in a box. She's a veteran. She's well-spoken. In many ways, she is the opposite of Trump, but in the same kind of anti-establishment, quote-unquote, lane that Trump is in. Trump doesn't deserve to be there. It's a lie. It's fake. But I'm talking strictly on political optics here. Kamala Harris is another establishment insider. That's not going to beat Trump. We are in an anti-establishment time. People are tired of the Washington corruption. That's how Trump won. So to run another centrist insider against Trump, it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what Susan Sarandon does. It doesn't matter what Russian memes are or aren't out there. It's not going to beat Trump. It just isn't. Let me see what you guys are saying. I mean, what else can you say about it? What else can you say about Kamala Harris without falling asleep in your chair? She won't win. Stephanie says Tulsi would crush Trump in debates. Kamala would lose badly to Trump. Mike S. says Kamala Harris is a cop and a narcissist. Brent says she will win for her donors by losing. Herman says Trump will win again in 2020. I think it depends. If they shove another corporatist down our throat, yes, he will. I mean, honestly, and this isn't me just... That's what I believe to be true. If you shove another... If it's Biden, yes, Trump will win again. If it's Kamala, yes, Trump will win again. If it's an actual progressive that has a grassroots support behind them, then I think we got a chance. He might still win. I don't know for sure. It's really tough to project when the election is still 2 years away, nearly 2 years away. But I do firmly believe you shove another corporatist down our throat, we ain't going to win. Sean says Gabbard Sanders 2020. As of right now, that is my favorite ideal ticket, too. I would love to see Tulsi as president, Bernie as VP. I would love to see that ticket. And I think that ticket would dominate. I really do. Mike, Ron, do you think Warren would beat Trump? Tough to say this early on. I think that... I don't think Warren really inspires a ton of people. I mean, that's my big concern for her. She does have her moments. As far as my personal take on her, I'm always kind of one step forward, two steps back with her. Like, she'll do something I really like, then do something I don't like. So I'm kind of verdict still out as far as I'm concerned. As far as could she beat Trump, I wouldn't be super confident about it. I'm not going to say she can't, but I think that would be a much tougher run than if it was Bernie or Tulsi Gabbard. I think that they have a much, much, much better chance by a lot.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your